Welcome to Monday Night Live, the weekly training that guides professionals to financial prosperity. Join our community and let's start building your wealth.
Let's go ahead and do it. It's 5 after now. So guys, we'll go ahead and kick this off. Welcome to Trever Ahing. If you guys could give a hand wave or something in the chat box.
Going on, Eric?
I met Trevor. Yeah, there you go. I met Trevor through the podcast, interviewing him on the Massive Passive Cash Flow podcast. And I knew right away I wanted to ask him to come teach a class for you guys because of our team model. He's perfect for our team model and a great story. So Trevor, if you want to go ahead and take her away and maybe give them just a little bit of background about your history, because I think it's compelling and I think everybody should know about that.
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate it, Gary. I'm an 8-year Marine, right? I came directly in from it. So I think when it came down to this, I have a big passion when it came down to kind of giving back financial literacy towards our service members. And I was kind of one of them. Never came from a real estate background, apartments my entire life. I never even I thought owning a house was a scam, and so kind of identifying this and moving towards, my enlistment time and a couple deployments in. My wife wanted to become a realtor. I said, you should do it, honey. You're so pretty. You could sell houses to all my buddies. Long story short, she didn't go. I ended up going and learning about real estate, and I got bit by the bug, right? So I started learning exactly how to house hack through my VA loan, utilized my VA home loan to get a house that was way too big, and I rented all the rooms out to all my buddies, made a bunch of money through their basic allowance for housing, thought I was doing real estate the right way, realized that that was only the tip of the iceberg, started going to off-market acquisitions, got into, assignment real estate, found some pretty sizable wholesale deals just because I was starting to kind of mingle with the right crews and the right networking, which is why great teams like this are crucial. There is definitely no I in team. So I pride myself in my entire community. Went directly into getting my license because what I realized, I'm flirting with all these homeowners and talking war stories with the men while I'm still active duty. I didn't have time to buy their house, and they didn't like my cash offer, so I thought I could just list it. And I was listing all these distressed homes that nobody wanted to buy because they needed a bunch of work, because I'm still dealing with distressed homeowners. And I really felt like I can bridge the gap a little bit. And so Gary interviewed me. I'm kind of known for novations, right? Equity protection, equity split models. I've done over 100 novations nationwide now. These deals are very much so where I just reached out to the homeowner one time about 4 years ago, and I said, I'm here as a listing agent. I could try to buy this cash. It doesn't seem like you like it. You got to leave here in a couple weeks, which means you're on a distressed timeline, but you want more equity. So I just said, why don't I just come in and renovate your home for you? Right? Do you have $15,000? They said no. And I said, I do, right? Let me renovate your home. I'll make this thing to what we call a current condition retail value. And when I list it, I'll cover all the realtor fees and closing costs. Anything above what your asking price is will just be a return on my investment, right? So my cash offer was about $280,000. They needed $320,000. I put about 15 grand into it. I had a buddy of mine list it because I was the investor per se. I sold it for $405,000 after realtor fees and closing costs, made about 50 grand, more than what I made an entire year as a staff sergeant. Revisited all my dead leads to try to be more collaborative with my homeowners. And I just said, hey, I have another model. I know you need to sell. People don't want to buy in that condition, but you want on market price. Let's partner up. I kind of became a private money lender for them, renovated the home on behalf of them, worked them through the magic of exactly what the retail condition could do, and made quite a bit of money doing that. And I just decided to build a foundation through a creative model of more collaboration and bridging the gap between distressed homeowners and a non-market solution. And that is the innovation pitch, man. So that's kind of what I like to be able to break down for you guys, because agents are the heartbeat of finding these deals, Gary. Like I would say, I've done a bunch of off-market campaigning, and I spent upwards of $20,000 a month, doing direct mailing, getting in front of it, but nobody has the subject matter expertise and the pulse on neighborhoods like local agents, right? And so kind of working with, people established like this in your area, my biggest thing is if the home is in a good condition, you should list it. Like you should sell it. Just like if the seller needs to close in 21 days, that's not a deal for me, right? That's a wholesale deal. You should totally do that deal. It's a cash offer. But when you guys are walking these homes and you're looking around and it hasn't been updated since 2006, and they're going to be residing with somebody else, or you just go, man, this property, if it just had $10,000 more, it could be worth another 30, 40 grand. right? I always want to continue to make sure that your fiduciary is attached to your seller, right? Now, the good news is when you get in front of a price point with the homeowner and you go, look, I don't even have to negotiate my commission with you because I work with a creative department that can come in here, right? I know that there's a couple things that we'd like to touch up. Do you have 5 to 10 grand that you might be able to maneuver on these homes? And if the seller goes no, you go, great, right? I actually have a department right now that will come in, right? They'll fully renovate the home to a standard I know my buyers are going to buy. We don't want this thing sitting. We want it to sell quickly. Let them come in here, do some touch-ups, right? What's a walkaway price that you need? Right after realtor fees and closing costs. They give you that number. If it ends up making sense, right, you just go phenomenal. I'm going to be able to list this thing on the market once they're done. It's only going to take about a week or two. I come in there, I end up renovating the home. I get it to a standard that you tell me it should fit for the neighborhood. You then list it. I cover your realtor fees and your closing costs. My 10K can usually make about 10, 15K. You guys understand what 10 grand in a home can do, right? And I can do those returns, 10, 15 times a month quite easily. So people always think, and I'll break all this stuff down. I'm a super nerd with this. I know I talk like super fast, guys. I apologize. But if you guys, if you guys have homes that are stud up even, and you go, man, this is great for an investor, it doesn't need to be, right? If the seller has patience and they're willing to have profit for more patience, it's a great way to kind of set the tone. Title remains in the seller's name, and you just let them know. You say, hey, look, I want to list this thing, but it's going to be listed in a great condition. I got a company that will come in here and fully renovate the home, right? Any appreciation they create through the renovation, they'll take as their fee. But when we list it, I'm going to get a full 6% that they pay for, right? And then any closing costs associated, they'll cover. I want to do 2 things for my agents, right? I want to make sure that you guys make, a great commission. I was an agent as well. I totally get it, right? That was a lifestyle that was a lot. You can make some really good money, but you got to be able to have the heart for it. And the last thing is people that use flat fee listing services. I hate those, man. Those are so bad. Those aren't going to sell a home. So all that front work that you guys have to do and being proactive and marketing the homes, it is a great way to get paid, respectfully for it. And then at the end, it's also going to be a beneficial for your portfolio, right? Imagine listing these homes that are turnkey that are going to be able to attract the kind of clients that you want. And that's been really cool to see that kind of thing explode as well for some homeowners. And so I like to break down some scenarios. I do want to open up the gates for some initial questions. Usually we end up, having some. I just like to slap the table with anything you guys have right away.
What areas are you working out of?
It's a great question, Catherine. So anything that's going to require 10,000 or below, I'm nationwide, right? We've done deals in just about every state but 4, and that's because no one's given us like stuff in Arkansas and whatever. But we're pretty nationwide. If we've put a couple $100,000 in deals, I would say my main 5 markets would be, it would be California, Arizona, Florida, Texas, and Nevada. I really enjoy Tennessee as well. But it's such a subjective question just due to the fact that I'm not going to run away from my money making money, especially if you guys, understand the area. So we really only go when we have somebody that we trust to be able to put a pulse on the home that's necessary. And that's where the agent kind of comes in play, right? We kind of treat you guys more as a PM, right? It's kind of like a project manager, right? When it comes down to having to put 30 or 40 grand into the deal, I will usually fly out my contractors, or if you have someone local that you highly recommend, there is a vetting process. But as long as you and I can keep great communication with my team, we can go just about anywhere and build, kind of a framework there. But if you're going to start off and you need money right now, it's usually in those, first 5, 6 states that we ended up discussing.
Thank you.
Or where are you, Catherine?
Virginia?
Okay, we've done some stuff in Virginia. Is the thing. I think Virginia is a great area as well. Very patriotic, which is what I love. I do a lot of this, and this is going to be really fun for you guys. I do a lot of work with VA home loans, especially, and not only is it near and dear to me, but I created something called the VHA program. It's called the Veteran Home Advantage Program, which is just a fancy way of saying it's an innovation, but we kind of reverse engineer the model. Because what I see all the time is, people get approved for the VA home loan. They're putting in offers, they're getting beat out, right? They can't, compete with conventional offers that are going 10% over asking or waiving contingencies. The VA home loan is a very credible loan, but unfortunately, a lot of people can technically top it, when you're looking at it from the seller perspective. So what we end up doing is, Catherine, if you had like a VA buyer, you just tell me the buy box that they have, the area that they want to live in, and you just state what their, what their loan is up to. What we'll do is we'll campaign in that area, find a distressed home or a property that's been sitting on market for 90 or 120 days. We call that seller and we go, hey, I got great news, right? I have a great agent, Catherine. She's got a VA buyer ready to go, but unfortunately, they can't get lending on your home because of the work it needs. So they went through my program. We've approved them for up to $50,000, $60,000 work on behalf of you on this property. The only thing that we need to do is, come in there, renovate the home, to standards suitable for the VA loan. Once this property appraises, my VA will buy it at whatever the property, will appraise. I'll cover all the realtor fees and closing costs, and whatever's left over from what you're asking to what we sell it for, we'll end up taking the difference. And so we get our guaranteed buyer, you get a full commission, we renovate the home and give a guaranteed sell for the seller, and I make the middle, right? And that's been really cool to do for VAs. And that's usually what I'll do nationwide because, it's just a lot more ethical for VA buyers. And I already know I have a buyer lined up.
Right. Sounds good. Especially if you
Sweet.
find the properties, right?
Yeah, we do. I mean, that's what we do, right? We, and that's something that Gary was talking about. My community is very creative. So it's a lot of agents are in there kind of learning how to understand them, dissect the model, get in front of it. And then when you start pitching these opportunities, because you guys are going to listing appointments all the time, right? And if you guys come in front of a home that's just dated, you just tell your seller, you go, what are you doing? Let's not put this thing on market right now. Let's get this thing cleaned up. I got someone who'll come in for 20K or whatever the situation is. They'll cover my entire listing commission and closing costs. Once you become a part of the community, you just submit those opportunities to us. We act as the creative department on behalf of you. We work directly with the homeowner and you. We get the property completely cleaned up, take some photos, have you list it, and we sell this thing, right? And so that's a great way to work with you guys on that. And I just always want to reiterate that, yeah, we work for you, right? The submissions that we get, I get a little over 100 submissions a month. But the best submissions that we see are agent submissions. The rest are like investors who go, if you just add a basketball court and a third story, it could be worth $1 million. I go, yeah, no, right? And so if you guys know the area, there's a lot of value add that we can do for these homes, and trust me, they sell so much quicker. I know that days on market have come, and it can be quite lengthy. The shift in the economy, way things are going right now, I do find more of a positive nature. And so identifying that and kind of churning that on our wheels, let's celebrate by renovating some homes to get them quickly sold, and we'll just cover all costs. I have a pretty sizable fund for this, so all of it's personally, well, not personally, but it is. We don't go into escrow. I don't buy the house from them initially, right? And so here's a couple levels of protection. We don't transfer the name of this, or we don't transfer title whatsoever. So when you guys are looking at me and you go, yeah, but how is my seller protected on this deal? Title stays in their name, right? We lean against the home just like any HVAC company would or whatever, stating, hey, we've done some value add work on this. So if you try to sell it, you can't without me. We open up escrow with them as the intent as a buyer and or novator, because if the property doesn't sell on market, we do buy it. Right. So if we go 90, 120 days, which we don't, but let's just say it went 3 months on market, it was stagnant, it's appraising, but the area just isn't selling, we will close on that home still at the price that we guaranteed your homeowner. So you will always be above board with those sellers, lock them into a price that they're willing to walk away with, which is always going to be worked into their equity. And then we'll close on it, and we'll usually end up relisting or keeping for a rental. And then people always ask that. And this is what's really cool about working with agents and kind of just getting the gears going for you guys, is because we've already force appreciated the home. We didn't have to take title, which means I didn't have to put 20% down for, hard money. I didn't have interest only payments. I didn't have points on my money, right? I was just utilizing my capital to close. So now when we do end up taking title, right, I have no other position costs to a bank, and then I can just end up renovating it or refinancing my money out because I'm already at 75 to 80% of its value, because it will appraise at what the fair market rent is, right? Or what the fair market rate is. So I've closed on 3 or 4 just because I like the area with $0 out of my pocket. I just end up refinancing the A to B out and then just keeping it to a debt service coverage ratio note, like a 30-year investment note, and rent it out. So I'm just buying rentals, with none of my own money, through agents that still get paid their entire commission. And this is what we teach, right? It's so many different exits that you got to be able to have in 2024. It's a creative industry, right? I do think creative is the way. And so starting off with the listing perspective and then being able to bleed into these other ways, it's just, we got smart homeowners now. I want you guys to be able to provide a lot of different services for them.
Hi, I just want to take a moment to thank you for watching a recording of the Monday Night Live class. Hope you're getting a lot out of it. I'm sure you will. I wanted to let you know that, you can come to Monday Night Live whenever you want, but you can also participate more with the team. Why don't you set up a call with me, a one-on-one strategy call? I can go over everything with you, show you everything that we have to offer. For example, did you know that on our team, not only do you get your leads, we actually give you your own account on our lead gen system. So this puts you in control. You're not waiting on somebody to hand you leads. You get to pick the ones you want. Okay. Huge difference. We have 21 of our own proprietary marketing campaigns. They're all copyright protected. We're the only ones that can use them. Okay. The coaching is absolutely one-on-one. We got 3 coaches. We even have a 4th success coach that we have access to. Okay. One of left fewer than 100 in the world. Okay. One-on-one coaching. Right now the big problem is volume. We need more transactions. We need more inventory. I get it. Well, we know how to get it. Our team actually outproduces the national average by more than 2 to 1. So if you're struggling, don't do that anymore. If you're a solo agent, if you're a team, let's just talk. Smart entrepreneurs are always open to discussion. Learn what we have to offer, and then you can make an informed decision about staying where you are or moving on. You've got to decide, if you're not where you want to be, you've got to take action to get where you want to be. Let's see how we can help you do that. I look forward to talking to you. Click on the link, set up a call. And by the way, I'll see you on the next Monday Night Live.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Sweet. Absolutely. Yeah. What do you got, Gary?
It's Trevor. So if we find the deals for you, like in other words, we can, it's easy to find buyers. When you have an imbalance between supply and demand, there's more demand and supply, you to find buyers. So we actually do pretty good on the listing side. In fact, our team, we actually have equilibrium. We've got like right now 40 some odd listings and 40 some odd on contract. But if we find you the deals, is that palatable too?
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
is that something you would
Absolutely.
entertain? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, Gary,
All right,
absolutely.
good.
So a couple ways that we can end up working together, right? If you guys find a deal and you guys take your agent hat off and put your investor hat on, you go, "Oh, I got a buddy who will do this," right? And they're already listing it or they're already attached to the deal that this might end up working. When we renovate the home, we'll attach you guys to the equity, right? So we'll give you 25% net proceeds of the deal once we close. So if you give me a deal, right, where it's 100K to make 100K, well, you just made yourself 25 grand just by bringing us the opportunity and being able to not even use your license. You'll be attached to the close of escrow, the closing statement, or a referral fee that we can position payout as a marketing fee afterwards. But usually that's exactly how we operate. And that's awesome, right? I don't need you guys always attached to the deal. I just want you looking at it, spreading the good word of my company and saying, "Hey, this could be a really good opportunity for what you have. Your property's been stagnant. Let's boost it up a little bit." And that's a great way to start being able to make some residual income as well on the investment side. Now, if you guys have buyers, we have, I don't know, 12 or 13 listings out currently. And I have a lot of people that work this model as well that have listed their homes. And this is what I wanted to bring up to Gary in the community as well is, if we have properties that are stagnant, and I've taught this, and to other people, and fortunately they have great deals, but it might not be in a really popular area. So it has been sitting for a little bit, fully renovated. I can give you guys the listings that you have, and maybe you guys have buyers for it, or you guys have a buyer pool that might be able to come in and close on the home for a good deal with seller concessions, things like that nature. So I would love to kind of utilize you guys on both ends. And that's exactly why I like bridging the gap with good agents, because you guys are the key to success when it comes down to this.
Yeah. Hey, one thing too, Trevor, I'm thinking about this as I'm looking at the mixture of people here. So we have veterans, or there's people on here like Trevor, Kathy, and honestly others too, who have a lot of experience. Dutch Andrews, Karen Green, particularly when it comes to investors and things like this we've done in the past. But we do have a lot of new folks on. So for the new guys, would you like to have if Trevor can kind of walk you through, ABC 1, 2, 3, how would you, yeah, I'm getting some yeses right away.
Yes.
Um, yeah,
Yes, of course. The biggest thing I always want to say is creative should be complementary, right? It shouldn't be confusing. The biggest misfooting that I see when it comes down to people talking about this is trying to play telephone too much, right? Always know that you can use me to answer any questions, right? I'll be your scapegoat. But the last thing I want you to do, and we'll go into exactly how to properly do a warm handoff, but the last thing I want you to do is talk to your homeowner, get excited because it might make sense and go, yeah, but I got this guy, he'll like renovate it, but he won't like buy it, but he'll like sell it for you, and he'll take a fee. It's like, whoa, right? That sounds a little too confusing. My company name is Buyer Beater. If you want to contact me, I would highly recommend you guys can end up emailing me. I'm going to put my email below, Gary. Is that fine?
absolutely. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And Natasha's
Boom.
asking, um, is this applicable to residential properties only, or do you consider like 6-family homes? Um, and she's up in north of New York City. She's in the Metroplex, but great. She's got her own brokerage, and I know her personally. There's a funny story about Natasha and I on my wedding day. I'm not married now, but back then, and I'll save it for later for you guys who want a really hilarious, funny story. But she's a top-notch agent. She does a lot of multis. You guys dealing with those all?
Yes, so we've done a couple, right? I mean, my partner in this, he's a 6-year commercial agent, so he did a lot with industrial multifamily. So he's going to be handling that side when it comes on a cap rate, kind of understanding what we can force our rents to get up to. We can though. Long story short, yes, that's going to be deal specific. Do I market for them? No, but do we have funds allocated to do that? Absolutely. I think could be a great value add for the right areas. So depends on the type of commercial. I think you stated it was a 6-unit.
Yes, a
Yeah,
6 unit.
Natasha, if you want to unmute yourself, feel free. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not sure if you heard me. Thank you, Gary. Yes, it's a 6-unit, Trevor.
Perfect. Yeah, I would love to take a look at it, right? I put my email right there. We could see what we have and see what we can end up, positioning. Is it currently on market?
Off market.
Okay, even better. It's even better. Yeah, let's see what we can do. Let's see what we can do. Like Dutch said, additional exit strategies are always good. They absolutely are. If we can position this now, Natasha, for this property in particular, right? The whole point on these deals, and this is exactly kind of the warm handoff for everybody, is it's just a complementary approach, right? I don't want you guys to discuss me as a buyer, right? And I don't, it's not somebody that just say, hey, I do partner with a creative department, right? They are a servicer to kind of come in here and help renovate the home to get it to a standard to sell, right? I am more than willing and I would love to be able to list this home in the condition that it's in. I'm just remorseful that it might take a couple months to sell. So if you want to be able to move quicker, this company can probably get you the exact amount you want to right around it, and kind of appreciate your home. And that way you can close this chapter effectively, and just very emotionally driven. Residential real estate is extremely emotional. I want you guys to have them, kind of see the value. And the moment that they go, well, what happens if it doesn't sell? Or, they go, well, how much are they going to put into it? How long is it going to take? You guys just go, that's a great question for my creative department. Let me put you in contact with them, right? It's as simple as that. I want to make sure you guys don't have to eat your words on other things. And once you guys get a deal or two with us, you'll understand the entire process. It's very much OJT. It's a lot of on-the-job training, and you guys will be a part of the entire step. Kay, what do you have? I see you got a question. You might be on mute though, Kay.
See if I can find
Maybe
her.
she doesn't have a question anymore.
No, she does. I know she'll unmute herself. She has a unique computer setup.
Okay.
Multiple screens and so Kay, if you're
now you can hear me.
There we go.
Yes.
Okay. So I have a house and HUD has a mortgage and it needs to be fixed up. And everybody's giving me these horrible lowball offers to fix it up. I don't think it's going to take that much to fix it up and sell it. And I don't know if you'd be interested in looking at the numbers or, how I could let you take a look at it. The problem is, the owner is to the point she won't spend anything. She hadn't even cut the grass. And I tried to get a home tender in to fix it and rent it from her while we kind of fixed it up and staged it to help sell it. And she pissed him off, so he left. So I'm just trying to get this thing sold. It's a high dollar house. So, the last one that sold in the neighborhood was like $795.
Okay. Okay, this is right up my alley. These are the exact situations I love. I want to be the Tylenol for you guys, on these kinds of headaches. Nobody wants to buy it. It needs work. Seller won't put anything into it. And that's it. Okay, do me a favor. Email me that we can see what we have. I deal with this quite a bit, right? The sellers want to be like, well, why don't you assume the risk? And I always say, well, if I assume the risk, I'll assume the reward, which is going to be great. We'll pay the mortgage on behalf of you. Right? Which I do. I do pay the mortgage every single month until the property sells. Why do I do that, guys? 2 reasons. 1, it's a whole hell of a lot cheaper than interest-only payments to a bank. And 2, it's applicable to the price. Let this thing take 4 months to sell, right? They're going to get a guaranteed price. They kick their feet up. I can even cash flow them, and it gets eaten off of the price that I'm going to give them at close of sale, right? It's going to be able to have them not have to worry about a thing until the property is able to close. And so, okay, if you have that deal, shoot it my way at Trever@buyerbeater.com. That's an ER. I do a lot of these. Unfortunately, people always spell Trevor with the OR. I know I'm on no keychain ever, but it's an ER. TREV.
Trevor. Okay,
Trevor.
I can remember ER because I was in healthcare.
I know. Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
Yeah, can somebody put that in the chat so I can copy it, and because I'm almost to the house, but I'm driving.
Yeah. I'll put it right here. But guys, I'll show you guys a couple opportunities. I can pull up some listings that we have. Don't think I call them the 5 Ds, right? You have death, distress, divorce, and debt. Those are your typical 4 that need work now. But you have duds, and I call them dud listings, right? Listings that you guys are just sitting on. You're like, oh my God, this seller, unfortunately, there could be an overpromise, underdeliver, or the area that you love, and now they're losing faith in you. Let's come in there. Let's do some work on behalf of those, right? You guys know what $5,000 to $10,000 can do to a deal. And by the way, do I sell every property, right? I did 3 last year where I put $5,000 into it that did not sell, and I ate that cost. I will never have a dollar go against the homeowner ever. This is the assumption. This is my risk tolerance, right? I'm an investor. I just come in at the investment piece and I'm able to provide a service. We call it the marketing, maintenance, and management service. So if it doesn't sell, right, and I put $5,000 in there to help your guys' listing, the worst case is we get to see exactly where, the market is. We see what offers we are getting, right? I was able to try to help, and the seller has the pleasure of firing me, and you guys get to try it again. That's kind of what we have. Now, if it does sell, we do want to be aggressive with our cost. We are going to get an inspection report. I want to see what kind of big ticket items need to get taken care of. And there still is a give and take with price, right? I want to be like your lottery ticket for a lot of these, but it still has to make sense for us financially as well. And we have a novation calculator that we go over every single deal, right? We underwrite everything. When you guys get in front of our submission form, I'll put that in here. You guys don't got to join anything to submit anything, all right? It's completely free for us to work together. But if you guys want to dive deeper, and let's say you need renovations more than $20,000, then there's a way that you and I can work together where we can be more of a bank for you and provide more marketing material, all of these things, right? But for right now, through Gary, I would love to just see what we need, on what 25K and lower can really do for some listings. Dutch said, how about putting pressure on existing wholesalers? They have limited time frames. Any experiences there? Absolutely. Right. I always think if it's a wholesale deal, do the wholesale deal. I work with hundreds of wholesalers. But the thing is, a lot of the times you built great rapport with them, right? With the homeowners, they like you, you've broken down their barrier, their walls, they have a price, and you're just $30,000 or $40,000 off. You should always anchor, right? So all my investors that are in here, and you guys are looking at properties from the investment side and then going to maybe list, you need to always anchor. You need to set a reality check for these homeowners and let them know that they're in a situation that's going to require this amount of work. If you want, you can't have your cake and eat it too. If you want a buy now price, because you need to move now, that's going to be a lower offer. But when I come into being able to position Dutch, my model is a lot of my deals are stagnant listings and dead wholesale deals, right? I have wholesalers just submit me dead deals that go, hey, Brenda wanted 20K too much. I can't close on it. Well, I just call Brenda and I go, hey, Brenda, I heard you were just working with Gary. It seems as if their cash price was a little too low. Yeah, they were out of their mind, yada, yada, yada. I go, exactly. Well, Gary did end up passing this property off to us because I do think that we'd be a benefit to help you, right? It seems to me like you want about 20, 30,000 more dollars. And they go, yeah. You go, okay, well, hey, how about this? If I can give you that exact number, can you work with my timeline? Well, what's your timeline, right? And I go, give me a couple months. I'm able to kind of do something where I have funds ready to close on the home. But the thing is, you're right outside of my buy box. So why don't we just kind of work together, right? I can bring my money. I'll come in here. I'll just fully renovate the home on behalf of you, get this thing ready to go. I'll list it with one of my top 1% agents. We'll then list it and sell it. I'll cover all the realtor fees and closing costs. I see this set number that you want. Anything above that, whether it's $1 or $1 million, I'll just end up taking that risk or reward. And they love it. There you go. All of these dead wholesale deals have transitioned to a great deal. And guess what? Dutch, if they go, well, I need a deal in 14 days, 21 days. I go, then great, take my 14-day price. This is my price for that. If I'm buying it as is, no inspection necessary, you need to close, here we go, I'll buy it, right? But if you really want some more money, let's work with a little bit more of a timeline. Let's do this thing together, right? It's a collaborative experience. And the homeowners do tend to like that quite a bit. And then we position it to you guys as a listing expert to get it to sell. Because I'll talk to you guys all day and I don't know the market, right? And I go, hey, what do I got to do to be able to put this thing on market and get this thing sold right away? And if you tell me what to do, and we got some traction with it, we're off to the races. And the cool thing about this is as well, is a lot of my homes, they don't even hit escrow, right? Or I'm sorry, they don't even hit market for too long, just due to the fact that if you guys are my listing agent, imagine being able to be proactive and you go, oh my goodness, I think I might have a great buyer, and they're walking it during the renovations and they have a daughter, I'll paint the room pink. They want certain cabinets in the kitchen, I'll paint them that color. We can customize this Barbie dream house for this family to make them feel like it's one of a kind for them. And so that way, when we have an asking price, it gets appraised, we just wipe our hands clean of a great deal and we just move on to the next one. Right. So that's been really cool as well, to be very proactive. And so that way we don't have to wait for Christmas in November, and everyone wants to get fat and happy during Thanksgiving. People are solidified in their school districts. We can still sell houses during this time because we have proactive agents like you guys.
Yep. Well, you said you might have a couple examples. You could.
Oh, yeah. I can show a couple.
Sure.
Let me, I don't have anything
Okay.
ready, but let me pull a couple up.
Sure. Yes. And by the way, this is, well, I'll coin a phrase at ease. So this is this is an easy group, laid back, and everybody's eager to learn, and we're kind of loose here, So,
Absolutely. No, I love the questions. I love the questions.
Good. Let me there's a few chats. Okay, that was for Dutch. We got that. Contact information, case question, additional extra strategies. We got contact info.
You got some good ones.
Okay, I think we're good questions here. So,
oh, we got some more that I can add. Oh no, okay, give me.
I think we're
need
clear.
to
We got to
get a
we're on it.
faster computer.
That's okay. Hey, this is lately. It's, I swear, Trevor, everybody's just saying this thing. The internet has been the worst we've ever seen it. Just totally erratic and sporadic and unreliable. Like I've got my mobile hotspot on at all times now, just in case we lose a connection. So crazy times.
Well,
Mine too,
they-
Gary, on this side, and that's why I got bumped out and had to log back in. It is crazy how bad it's been over the past couple weeks, maybe.
Yeah.
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 I don't know if it's something, if there's solar flare-ups from the sun or something, or
that extra
it's hard
moon, maybe. Kay wants to know what the difference this is from Curbio. It says cut up, but I think she means Curbio.
Yep. I get that quite a bit, right? I know when it comes down to Curbio, we get presented, the fact that, Curbio is also, a platform that does this. It's just a lot more, a couple things that we do better than Curbio that we've heard. We've had failed Curbios that we've ended up taking over positions on. The communication is above approach. I really do think people do business with people. And so kind of not treating this as a transaction and more personal, it's a lot easier to deal with the emotional, resilience with homeowners. So they get to do a lot of before and after walkthroughs. And we get to go a lot more in depth with their situation, whether it was, probate or an heirship or somebody had passed. Another thing is Curbio's box, right? What they'll do a lot is they'll nickel and dime you afterwards. They'll give you a set amount that they'll renovate the home at, then they'll go over that amount. And at close of sale, because they have a second position on your home, they'll give you all these receipts of anything. If you were approved for 40 grand, they spent 70, you're giving them an extra 30,000 because that's what you signed away, right? For this, mine's more of an arbitraged approach where I go, what do you need to make sure that we can walk away with? And if the numbers do make sense, we take on that risk, right? So we can end up making sure that some properties we have gone over, right? But at our expense, just like flipping a house, guys, right? If I go over budget or things happen, I still assume that risk. And so I let my sellers know that. And so they feel a lot more at ease when they want to do business with us, just due to the fact that, that it's not, they can get a hold of us and we're kind of in this together with them. That's the biggest difference is if you're approved for a certain budget and we go over, that's on us. If things happen and we got away with not telling us about a roof and on the inspection it didn't show and we got to re-roof it, then we got to re-roof it. That's why our minimum cash on cash, right, is going to be roughly, we try to target about 70%, right? And so what I can end up doing at least right now, I have some before and afters for some deals, but this is always a big question. It's kind of how do the numbers end up looking? And I'll show that right now.
Mm-hmm.
Once it loads. There we go.
And Kathy had a good point too. I met the Curbio people several years ago, and the challenge I had with them, it wasn't the people or the product. It was that our team, we have a presence in 38 states, and they weren't there. They were in some places we were, but not every place. And it just wasn't working out, So, here we go. Okay.
Yeah, no, Gary, you're completely right. And so that's another thing, right? They might only be in certain areas. But the thing is, we can go where it makes sense because I'm not a conglomeration of a company. You know what I mean? I have 11 employees, but the thing is, I work with PMs and I have contractors that can travel for the job. And if that is the case, we have somebody local like you that we can end up working with to get the deal done. But I'll use one of my standard, situations that I see quite a bit. If we have a property, and this is the same numbers you guys are getting in front of as an investor. So if a property that could sell for about $500,000, this is the typical formula that we're seeing for the investment stance, right? It's about 75 cents on the dollar, right? Minus if the property needs $50,000 worth of work, and let's say you guys want to make $20,000 as an investor, you're offering roughly between $290,000 to $300,000 for this deal. A lot of the times that's not going to work. Now, the thing is, when they do contact local agents, right, we have to remember, you go, well, man, we could probably end up selling it for a little bit more because you're working them into the optimism of the market, but their property still needs work, right? So you guys are getting in front of listings that might be a hoarder house, or it might be things that you never even thought about it because you guys might be top 1% agents. You guys might be like, Trev, I don't deal with these kinds of homes anymore, because I have my own reputation for this, and that's totally fine, right? But don't throw these leads out the window anymore because now you can still list beautiful homes after we come in and work on behalf of you and the homeowner. So what we would end up doing is if you're offering about $300,000 for the home and the seller says, kick rocks, I need $360,000, right? That's $60,000 more than what a typical wholesaler or cash investor can offer. So they'll go to an agent and you go, oh my gosh, yeah, absolutely, right? Let's try to list this thing. I know it needs about $50,000 worth of work. It might not pass inspection. So what do agents do? They'll throw it on market for, let's say, $410 or $429, and they'll say investor special, right? With a little tender love and care, this oasis could transform into some beautiful home, right? And so you're still shopping for investors, right, through the market to be able to position optimism on this deal. Scrap that, right? Come into this kind of home and say, okay, hey, $500,000. This is how we would end up underwriting it. We put ARV is $500,000. CCRV, by the way, guys, is really $7,500 and less. If you guys go, well, Trev, we don't need 50K on this thing. This market is hot, hot, hot. Give me $7,500, put it in here. We could sell it for 460 all day. Seller wants 360. We can attach you guys to the equity. We get all the upside as well. We gave the seller their exact number, and you guys get to walk away with a great commission and part of the equity, right? So I'm not going to worry about this though right now, okay? I'm just going to be able to put in what my numbers are. $50,000 for a renovation to be able to make it worth 500 so you guys can sell it. Let's say the renovation, let's say the seller we stated wants $360,000. And let's say, staging is 4,000, doesn't really matter, right? Appliance is $2,000. We're on about a cash on cash of about 63%. So when you guys come over and you tell the homeowner, you go, okay, 360, in this condition, I could list it for a little higher, but unfortunately, it's just probably going to sit, right? A lot of these buyers, they want something more turnkey in the area. It seems as if you're already relocating to your daughter's house or something. I have a creative department. They'll come in, right? I think this would be a perfect fit for you, right? They want to come in. They'll guarantee you $360,000, and they'll come in. They'll just renovate the entire thing for you, right? Fully insured, licensed contractors. Let them come in, completely clean this thing up, make a 2024 turnkey. And the best news is when they're done, I'll even PM it since you trust me to be able to list the home. I'm going to list it in a full condition that's going to be standard suitable for the market. And they're going to cover all my costs. They'll cover all the realtor fees, all the closing costs. So I don't have to negotiate with you on my price. And then anything that they sell it for above 360, whether it's $1 or $1 million, they'll end up taking as their cash on cash return, but you're going to be guaranteed 360. And if it doesn't sell in a couple months, they'll just buy it from you at 360, right? Approach it like that, see what we have. And on the realtor fees, right? I have 5% in here. We always match what listing agents have. So if you've negotiated a 6%, we'll put it as a 6. If you guys are at a 5, we'll put it at a 5. And then we'll go from there. I have about 2% in closing costs. I average for about 7 to 8% in fees. I'm even giving our investors a 15% return. And at 360 with $50,000 in, we're all in about 410 to sell for 500. After all of our costs associated, my 50,000 made me $40,000. I will do that deal all day. So in this situation, I just gave the seller exactly what they want. I gave you a beautiful listing to renovate. I'm attaching you guys to not only the equity, but the optimism of the sale. And I'm making a great cash on cash on my money. And so in doing so, I'll do these deals everywhere all day when it comes down to, to these numbers. Do you guys have any questions on just a quick breakdown for this one? Kendra, is that you talking? You have a question?
Sorry, no, I don't have a question.
Okay, no worries, no worries. And the last thing I want to do is be, I don't want this to be confusing, guys, right? I know it's a completely different approach, and I'm showing you guys how my underwriting happens. The biggest thing is just find deals, right? A lot of my Tuesday on market power hours are just getting in front of stagnant listings that have been sitting for 90 to 120 days. And I just have my community call them and they just say, hey, it's looking like it's been months. What's going on? And they say, well, hey, and so it seems to me it's a little dated, right? And if it is vacant, they just pitch this model and agents love it, right? And there's a lot of underwriting that goes into this where it makes you feel comfortable as an agent because you're representing the homeowner. Once we get you comfortable, right, it's a very easy transition to make sure the seller feels safe as well. And when they do, and we can give you guys what our credibility packet is, that's in their entire buyer beater portfolio, deals that we have active, deals that we're doing. We have over $1.4 million out right now of renovations across 7 states. We go into all of that, right? And so identifying that, it's just a really easy way to be able to set these deals up and allow me to work for you on the renovation costs. So that way we can start being able to sell properties that we're proud of. What contract do you use with the seller? Okay. Gabriella, that's a novation contract. So it's a novation. It's a purchase and sale agreement, right? It is a purchase and sell agreement because I am going into escrow. I put either $100 or 1% of purchase price as earnest money because I have the intent to buy and or novate, just like a wholesaler would come in contract, as well to buy, right? Or assign. My novation style is to be able to renovate the house, provide a service, and sell to a third-party conventional purchaser, right? And that's going to be with the help of you guys. So we have just that contract, and then we usually have the indemnification agreement with it, but it's extremely simple verbiage. And it's everything that the seller can understand, right? It's way shorter than the California RPA. Perfect.
Hey, Dutch was asking a moment ago, Trevor, about the subject to purchases where you're, it's not really an assumption, you're just purchasing subject to an existing mortgage. And I don't know if you've seen those or have worked with those before.
Yeah, most of my portfolio, Dutch, are sub-2 deals. I own a lot over in Tennessee. I'm very involved with the sub-2 community. I do almost every novation for, sub-2 SoCal. When it comes down to Rich and Richard Knowles and Mitch, I speak at their events a lot. So I do love sub-2. Now, the best news is, right, subject to deals, I mean, they're great. If you guys don't know how to do a subject to opportunity, I highly recommend taking a look because, if you've ever come in front of a listing where they have phantom equity, right? Well, maybe I don't even have to pitch it. I'm pitching sub-2 now. You guys probably understand the sub-2 piece, but we work hand in hand with them as well, right? So we need to have a lower note, right? Due to the fact that we have to force appreciate the home. Subject to deals are very much so really lack of equity. So you can end up taking over an existing mortgage and paying them out a portion, because you're not having to cover realtor fees and closing costs because you'd be underwater of your loan, right? So we go hand in hand. I get deals in where it's not enough juice on the bones, or meat on the bones, juice on the bones, meat on the bones. I give it directly to sub-2. And I'm in Pace's community, right? I've been in it for years. That's how I learned about novations. I actually thought I invented it, a little bit, and I joined the community and they were like, no, idiot, like this is a thing. I'm like, oh, and I just refined it. I ended up refining it and doing it my way, but vice versa, but I think as an agent as well, you guys can find some pretty hardy subject to deals. And if they have more opportunity for equity, I think it's a great novation.
Okay. Okay, you guys, how about I know we got to go in about 10 minutes. Would you mind doing like a step through, like, you know, just A to Z or 1 to 10?
Yeah,
Your
absolutely.
typical deal.
I'm
Yes,
gonna
everybody
put
get ready
this.
to take, especially the new folks, take notes. Yeah.
I'm gonna put this in here
Mhm.
as well. It's gonna be our Podio submission form, but the A through Z of what we have, right? It is going to be identifying a dated home, right? That's the number one thing. You guys have the eyes for it, right? Identify a dated home, okay? I need you guys to massage the homeowner with the opportunity of being able to collaborate. So allow yourself as an agent to go in and say, hey, I have a couple options for you. Obviously you contacted me to list the home. I see the condition of the property, and you don't have to say, man, this thing stinks. Of course not, right? Just say, hey, I want to be able to make sure that we get you in front of a clear, concise sell as soon as possible. What is your timeline? And see what it is, right? If they're saying, hey, I got to move fairly quickly, and just go, okay, well, hey, the best way to get it, to be able to move as quickly as possible is not letting this thing sit for too long. Do you have any funding to be able to get the property up to speed to be comparable to properties near you? And if they say no, you go, great. I don't want to even have to have you kind of lift a finger or even write a check. I have a company that can come in here and I'll still list this, of course. I just want to be able to put you in the best position to win. So let me take some photos. Let me give this to my creative department, right? And if they can give you a number that, we both want to walk away with, let them come in. They're going to renovate the home on behalf of you. And they're not going to have to bust down walls or do anything crazy, right? Just going to get it to a standard that I know is going to be, very, flexible to the area. And then when they're done, we'll list this home and then they'll actually cover all of my realtor fees and closing costs. And whatever's left over will just be a return on their investment. But it seems as if this is your number. Let's try to get you this number together, right? And so it's just a really good way to be able to provide excellence for them, you securing the listing, on a property that we can appreciate for you. And then we just make the difference on the two, right? And any questions that they have over that, guys, you just position that over. I work for you. I always want to make sure you guys are well aware of that. My entire company works for you. I do zero direct to seller, zero. I don't do any campaigning. I get all of my deals from being able to, be on great podcasts and do things like this with Gary in the community to be able to spark interest in you guys and go, well, maybe let's give it a whirl, right? And submit a couple. And the good news is, if we don't go forward on it, my acquisitions will give you an entire in-depth breakdown of why, right? I don't want you to just know what to do. I want you to know why we're doing it, right? And so if you guys submit something and we turn it down, We'll give you the in-depth notes of why or where we need the property price at or what the situation was. And that way we can kind of work together more and more to identify what our buy box is so we can start doing business together. And I love that, right? I don't want you to just think we have a rejection stamp and then you just try again. You know, we want to foster a relationship with you because we want to do 5+ deals easily, you know, with you guys once we identify how this is able to benefit both of us.
Okay. All right, guys, any more questions for Trevor? He's got to head out of here in a few minutes. So speak now, forever hold your.
I have the Podio submission form I like to put in here, guys. It's just our web form where if you guys have any deals, click it, fill it out, put it in there, and let's go from there. We'll contact you within 24 hours. We'll let you know. By the way, if you put in there, don't contact the seller. We will not contact the seller. You're not passing it off on us and yada, yada. We'll give you a call directly and we'll see if this deal makes sense. And if it doesn't, you know, we'll point you in the direction where our Zoom classes, you know, we'll be able to help elaborate on it. You know, we have deal submissions training, our on-market power hour where I get on the phone and I talk to this, you know, I talk with agents about this. So it just really is a really good way to add another tool in the tool belt.
I
Okay.
assume based on the
Well,
conversation, you don't do land deals, right?
No, actually we do. That's a, you know, we've been getting more and more into it, Catherine. So identifying that we've novated land actually a lot recently. We'll put on water, we'll put on utilities, you know, we'll end up grading it. We'll get plans submitted so that way we can get it ready for a developer. And then we'll basically novate it that way. But it's kind of more of an assignment piece, but we will put work into the land to be able to get it to where we know we can price it to sell with you,
Okay.
you know, or, you know, we'll get in front of it. If it's, you know, rural, we'll do all the plans like I just discussed and we'll have you list it, you know, where it's a lot more competitive. So it's a longer timeline, but you know, we've enjoyed land novations lately.
What, and you do curb appeal on houses?
Oh my goodness, yes. I mean, a
Okay.
lot of the things, that's what I said, guys, like $500 to $7,500. You guys need a new fascia, you know, maybe a new garage door, some landscaping done, get rid of a hoarder room or two, deep clean the property. If the seller lives in the home, I've done 2 live-in flips, never again, right? I'm not here to, you know, I was moving them around at my, you know, my early stages. It was great. They had Great Danes. It was wild. So now that's the thing. I don't need to fully renovate the home. I just want you guys to say, man, I just wish this thing could show better, and they don't have money to allow that. Well, we do, right? We do have the money to allow that. So that's a great way to add that in. So I don't need you guys to think extensive 2024 HGTV. Just think and go, wow, well, this room, you know, they had an updated kitchen and a better backyard. You know, if I only had 15 grand to do that, well, I'm your 15 grand, right? We can get in front of opportunities like that.
Okay.
Well, this is awesome, Gary. I really appreciate it. I hope to be able to do this again and start jumping on some deals together.
Excuse me.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Of course. Thank you guys.
Can I ask you something?
Gabriella, of course.
Yeah.
Yes. What is your maximum? You said that you would work with the house amount of money.
Well, currently we have we've done one in Los Angeles for a little over 340,000. Those are outliers. I will say we try to stick, you know, to where it's 150,000 or less. But if the return's there, we'll do it, right? We do a lot of luxury in Arizona. But usually that's going to come with extra levels of protection. Maybe we start identifying, you know, a limited power of attorney or attorney in facts. So I'll tell you, the sky's endless, right? You know, when it comes down to this, it's just making sure that we're all on board, you know, for the length of the contract. So what market are you in, Gabriella?
I'm a brand new real estate agent.
He's going for the big boys.
Oh yeah. But I have 2 houses that I rent and I completely own them already. So
Perfect.
I want more.
Yeah. You should get more. I've been able to gain another 19 doors from this model, right? I've novated it to be able to sub to my opportunities or just completely refinance, take title, refinance into an investment note, wipe out the A to B, and I'm just utilizing other people's cash to renovate the homes and take title to them and it's been great. So if you ever want to hold property with me as well in great midterm areas, we can set up an operating agreement and do that. I've done that with multiple people who bring opportunities here. So, I mean, really, guys, I want to be as creative as possible. So the sky's the limit. If you guys don't want active income, you want passive income, I have a lot of pad splits in Texas. You guys can look at where I'm acquiring homes. You guys can call listing agents on behalf of that. And then we can buy properties collectively with my money, and you guys can help manage. I mean, seriously, I am open, to a lot of these because I think, like I said earlier, creative is the way in 2024. So, Gabriella, I would say if you want to get in front of 100K deals and lower, I'll do those any day of the week. Anything above that's going to be some extra due diligence. And we can, because I do know Southern California, Florida, like areas get, expensive for renovations. It would just be a lot more vetting.
We're in San Antonio.
Oh, yes.
Gabby and I are in San Antonio.
Oh, we got to discuss. We got to talk. I got properties all over there, and it's been a very, very good market on that side.
Awesome. We definitely will talk. I'll get
Perfect.
your information.
Email me,
from
guys. I appreciate it. Trever@buyerbeater.com. Gary, thank you so much for the opportunity. I appreciate every single one of you. And, you guys are ending just in time to watch some football. I got another hour class, but it is what it is.
Thank you.
Hey, Trevor, it's good.
Thank you, Gabrielle.
Good to see you again, man. Everybody
You too,
hang
Gary.
tight. I'm going to stay on a little bit longer. But if you give Trevor a pat on the back, a hand raise, type in the chat box, a big thank you. We'd appreciate
so
it.
much, Trevor.
Yeah.
Of course,
so
I
much,
appreciate
Trevor.
it, you guys. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
you,
It's the beginning.
Trevor.
This is the beginning. I appreciate it,
Thank
Gary.
you.
We'll talk soon, guys. Bye.
All right, man. So, hey, you guys like that?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
He's
When I
fast.
first met him, and the first thing I thought was Curbio, but then he explained to me what he was doing and how he was doing it. To me, actually, a much more personal, intimate approach, like the way he gets involved, and it's got a good feeling about it. So I like to see some of you guys try. I mean, it could bring you some obviously commissions, but more importantly, get you a lot more exposure into that part of the model, which is the investing part.
Yep.
So, Deshita, I'm sorry. Did you have a question, Deshita, or a comment? I feel like I just interrupted you there a second ago.
No, I did want to know about multifamily units. Would this be available for those too?
He
Yes,
did
he
say
said
he
that.
would do those. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but guys, if you want to, I'll stay on another half hour. We can cover anything you want. We can cover this subject. I mean, a lot of you are just getting started using, the ReallyFlow platform. We continue to find awesome things about ReallyFlow, and I'll give you an example. One of my students today is working with pre-foreclosure, and if you go into ReallyFlow, you have the regular criteria, and then you have the additional filters. Well, if you click on the filters, go down to the bottom, you can actually pre-select the pre-foreclosures that have the most recent notices of default, the most recent auction dates. Because see, before you'd have to get all the records that had any kind of pre-foreclosure data on there. It could go back, several years, and then you'd have to take your file and sort it by, auction date, notice of default date, that type of thing. Well, the cool thing is now you can pre-select that in ReallyFlow. So you only get the most recent notices of default and pre-foreclosure. We continue to find these things. I really encourage you to keep using it, keep plugging away. Some of the more recent people are having the best success because we're just learning more smaller files, fewer records per file that you're working with, for example. That's really the key. Let's see, Valerie's asking if you're licensed in the state, you are the realtor. If you're not, and you send, hang on, let me pull up the actual whole question. Hang on 1 second. If you're licensed in the state, you're the realtor. If you're not, and you send him a house, you get a referral. Yeah, pretty sure that's what he was saying. Did you guys gather that too? Like you can just get a
pay you
referral.
25%.
Yeah. Yeah. So, hey, you guys want to hear something really funny? Just a funny story about real estate coaching.
Yes.
Natasha, would you mind if I tell them what I told you the other day about when you and I had that role playing coaching call?
I have no problem. Feel free.
Okay. So guys, this is Natasha. Natasha and I go back many years, probably to 2015. And in 2018, we had a coaching call. And I was getting married that day. It was in the morning. And being an entrepreneur, I thought, yeah, I can do a coaching call or two. And any case, I'm in a suite. We kind of rented out this hotel up in London, Ontario, Canada. And so I'm in the same suite with my mom. She's in her room getting ready, and I'm on the living room doing a coaching call with Natasha. And the subject was objection handling. And the most common objection at the time was, I don't have the money, So Natasha and I knew each other already. So I just thought, I'm gonna have a little fun with this. So I was really hamming it up, guys. I'm saying things like, I don't have two nickels to rub together. I can't even pay attention. And I'm getting animated about it. Didn't care or bother that my mother was in the other room. I'm working, right? So later on, she says, Gary, I want to ride to the wedding with you. So, Mom, I can't. I need to be there on time. I really, honestly, I need to go by myself. And she insisted. If you knew my mother, we never were on time for anything the whole time I grew up. So I was really nervous about being on time. So needless to say, we got there on time. And she was being real quiet. She didn't say anything. In any case, later on during the father-mother dance, we're out there dancing, and she started getting teary-eyed and saying, honey, I just want to tell you, Bruce and I, we will help you any way we can. Whatever you need, if you need money, you just let us know. So, Mom, what are you talking about? She said, Gary, honey, I heard you on the phone this morning with that nice young lady from New York telling her how broke you were, and you didn't have two nickels to rub the guy. And I just started. I mean, I got teary-eyed because she was so emotional about it. And then I laughed later, of course. And in any case, Natasha and I were on the phone the other day, and I don't think I ever told her about that. I said, man, I got to tell you this, Natasha. It's the most funny, hilarious thing I've ever heard of, at least in my own life. So, any case, guys, meet Natasha. Natasha, meet the guys, and she's in New York, north of like the city part, beautiful part of New York, and an excellent agent. She's got her own brokerage. So if you ever have any deals up there or need to send somebody a referral, you can definitely get the deal done. And she worked with investors too, So okay, that's my
Well,
funny
been
for
taught by
tonight.
the best. That's why I
Anybody
work
have
with
any questions?
investors.
No, it was really good. Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, good. All right. So next week, let me see. That is going to be the 4th. Well, by the way, for those of you on the team, we have our monthly team call. What is today? What's today? This week, this Wednesday. Oh my gosh, yeah. So Wednesday night is the GIA monthly team call. That's the one where you have to be on the team to be on. All right. All right. Next Monday is in fact, no, she's from Arizona. Hannah Hammond. She's been working directly with Robert Kiyosaki. They're friends. They live in the same town. And she's got an amazing history building a brokerage. She's an investor. And she's going to teach tomorrow. Next Monday. So that's open to everybody. Remember, Monday Night Live is open to everybody. You can bring your guests just like tonight. It's the second Wednesday of the month where you do have to be on the team, and that's this Wednesday. So, okay. Well, if you guys have any more questions, I'm happy to take the extra time. And speaking of my mom, she's in the living room 2 doors away, so I'm gonna go spend some time with her, eat some dessert, and watch some TV or something, read a book. I don't know. But you guys, listen, if you haven't had a one-on-one for a while, please set one up. Okay. If you need the link to do that, please let me know, particularly if you're new or newer. We kind of hit it heavy getting started here, and we keep pushing until you're comfortable using the systems. So the more the merrier. My focus is to get you in production as quickly as possible. So help me help you do that. And for some of you veterans, it's been a while. I don't want to call on anybody or pick on anybody, but let's see who hasn't had a call in a while. Lisa, I know you got one set up. PF, you just have one. Karen. Oh, Rob Perot, man, you're due. And you had a closing too. Rob, this is the perfect time to crank up to hit the gas, buddy. So set up a strategy call so we can get you get some files coming your way.
I'm definitely due for a call. I'm sounds like an excuse, but it's reality. I'm been busy the past week and a half, and this coming week ducking hurricanes. I actually am no longer in my residence. The whole island was wiped out, and I'm up, over an hour away from where I was living. And now here I am, Wednesday night. Hurricane's going to pass 15 miles south of me.
Oh,
Like,
geez.
what the hell?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit of a distraction going on the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks, but yeah.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. And plus, guys, if you don't know, that new one is as of noon today is a Category 5. It's going to slam right smack in the Tampa area. And I have friends there. Rob's met some of these people and is there himself. And it's Category 5 is that's I mean even seasoned veterans will tell you if you're on the water, you just get the heck out of there, man.
How
Yeah,
wide is the cone, Rob?
the entire state, like 90% of Florida.
Well, yeah, I mean, I know I got my brothers down in Punta Gorda, and I've got cousins that up are in Newport Richie, so
Oh yeah. I looked at it upwards of an hour ago. I got a text this morning from Kai Zhang from EXP team recently. I just think so much of that guy, but he just texted me kind of out of the blue and was like, "Hey, here's what's going on with the storm." And I was like, "Wow!" I wound up spending the rest of the day kind of digging into the details about the storm. But just before the meeting started, I looked at the storm track, and it's moving across Florida, but it's actually moving to the right as well. So it's tracking southeast, and they have it coming over the St. Pete Beach, which is
lovely.
About 10. That's where the track is, about 10 miles south of where I was living. When it passed by Madeira Beach, it was 100 miles offshore and made landfall 210 miles north of us. And there's still 5 and 7 feet of sand on the main strip, on the main road.
Yeesh.
5 to 7 feet of sand. Unbelievable.
Ah.
8-foot swells of 8 to 12 feet of storm surge is depicted right tomorrow and Thursday. 8 to 12 feet surge.
Jeez.
It's just crazy. That's 2 stories.
Well, stay very safe.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If I'm here at a house, so I'm just kind of hanging out. There's really no furniture. I'm lucky to have somewhere to be, but I've got at the moment I've got lights and water.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
I have
an internet connection.
Yeah.
Yes.
Internet. Yeah. I have a friend who was on Longboat Key, and her place was wiped out from the last one.
Crazy. I've been through storms, but never like this. It's pretty surreal to be living somewhere for 10 years and then walk outside and look, and it looks like a war zone, literally. I mean, it's pretty freaky.
Be safe. All right, folks, stay safe. I'm going to head out. You guys have a good night.
Thank you. Good luck.
All right, guys.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Listen, God bless you and your loved ones. We'll see you on your one-on-ones. See you Wednesday night, and we'll see you next Monday.
Thank you for watching this episode of Monday Night Live. Be sure to subscribe to our channel and go to realestatewithgarywilson.com to join our community and start building wealth today.